Should you hire the cheapest contractor for a job? It's a question every investor asks when they're going to flip a property, or maybe they're renting a property and they need to fix something. The question is, should they get the cheapest person? Everybody thinks about that. Now, what's the answer? And it is, like so many things in real estate, it depends. It depends. Okay. In some scenarios, the cheapest contractor will work and work very well. In a lot of scenarios, it won't. I'm going to give you an example. Sometime back, we did a tree job. We literally got bids from 5,500, it was 5,500, if memory serves me correctly, up to $24,000 for the exact same job. And I remember we ended up getting like 10 quotes, and it was tree removal. Now, tree removal at its core is pretty simple. Cut down tree, remove it, carry on with life. But there are some things that are more involved with it, right? Obviously, you got people climbing up and chopping these things to bring them down in pieces. If you're talking about, trees that may be 70, 80, 100 feet tall, pine trees being common where I'm at. Okay. If it's a hardwood tree, right? That brings its own challenges. But here's what I will tell you about it. The most important thing with tree removal is, are they bonded and insured, right? Because they're going up 50, 80, 100 feet in the air. You want to know that they are insured, they're bonded, they are protected, and you're protected. That is by far the number one thing, right? Right. Safety, safety, safety. So, interestingly enough, the person that was the cheapest bid on this of all these quotes was bonded and insured. And he'd been in business for a while. He'd been doing this for a while. We looked at the bids for 8, 10, 12, 20, 24. Well, the 24,000, we didn't really, that was never really a serious bid. And what we noticed is we did not see reason to spend more money. So we gave the $5,500 person a try, knowing we may need to go get one of the $8,000 to $10,000 people. But let's see how it goes. Okay. And we did. And we went and we saw the work, and an amazing thing happened. It worked. It worked actually really well. In fact, the only part that was a little annoying was he missed limbing a few branches that were actually pretty low to the ground as a side part of the project. Not a big deal. Really had nothing to do with the core reason we hired him. It was literally like a little last cleanup piece that we threw in there. Not a problem. He took care of it. Everybody was good. Actually, I give him kudos. He did a great job in retrospect. And that was a case where it worked out. But again, it's a very simple thing. Taking down trees, bonded, insured. They either have the equipment and can do it, or they can't, and they did. As a project gets more complicated, the chances of that working decrease. Okay. Typically, when you're hiring a low cost person, it is going to be for single use, something that's going to be pretty simple. What's another example? Changing a toilet. Changing a toilet, very simple. Plenty of homeowners can do it. It's not a hard thing to do. But if it's a rental property and you have a tenant that is maybe not the easiest, a little more high maintenance tenant, you may not want the cheapest person, because if they get it wrong, you might get more phone calls from the person that you might not want more phone calls from. So in that scenario, I might get somebody better than the cheapest and be like, what, let me just get a high quality plumber for this because I need it to be one and done and never hear from it again, right? It just depends. Now, if you're talking about a collection of tasks, like running an entire project, I probably won't get the lowest cost person, because now there's more management involved. Even a simple cosmetic rehab can have 100 things that need to be managed, literally 100 on a cosmetic project. Total. When you really start thinking about all the details. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, they're just painting shoe mold. Well, yeah, but they installed all new shoe mold, and did they look at every corner at the end of every piece of shoe mold to make sure that was painted so we didn't have bare woods, right? And it's a 1,500 square house. So there's probably 15, 20 of those places that have to be visually looked at to make sure the attention to detail was good. Okay. My cheapest person is probably not going to be a good fit for that. Okay. The more management involved, the more you're going to need to pay for higher quality type work or somebody that's charging more because now they're not just doing a task, they're managing a series of tasks. If you're talking about a general contractor, the cheapest one will practically never work. Okay. The cheapest GC is rarely, if ever, I'm not going to say if ever, there's always an exception, but rarely is that going to be the best choice. Okay. So think about the task. How much work's going to go into it? How difficult is it? How involved is it? How much management is it? How many dependencies are involved from thing to thing to thing? And then you decide. So the cheapest contractor has its place. There is a place where it works. We've had success with it multiple times over the years. It is not our default. Our default is usually mid range contractors. That's almost always going to be the best case in most scenarios for the average fix and flip investor. Are there exceptions? There's always exceptions. If you do high end luxury, right, that's a whole nother tier. But for your average fix and flip, for your average rental property of a single family home, townhome, condo, your mid tier guys are going to be your best generally. But don't be afraid to use the cheap ones in special case use. Keep it simple. Give them a high probability of success. Don't ask too much. Make sure the person fits the bill, and you can save a lot of money. So, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. See you around.